Mr. Freeze.
On our way. To the bat hole.
Hi, so we just saw the Batman 66 diorama in action. I'm gonna explain how I made it as I take it apart a bit, and then I'm gonna show you some stuff I made for the Batcave, and then I have a surprise unboxing, and plus a bunch of other stuff I made in the time that there haven't been a lot of videos coming out. So this is me. I made him out of a figure like this, but it was a dude. I was gonna make the face bigger and then put the beard, but I forgot and I just put the beard, so he looks pretty skinny. And I made the pants out of epoxy sculpt, the shirt and the hoodie out of hockey stick tape, white and black hockey stick tape. The hoodie, I was planning to do something different, and I just wanted to do the elbows, and I just wanted to do the elbows and the shoulders with tape, but then I got carried away and taped everything. But now after the few days it's just been sitting here, all the tape is starting to peel off because it was just a lot of small pieces of tape on tape. I could glue it down, but I think I'm going to take it off and make it the way I originally planned. And then I 3D printed Timberland boots and then painted them, and then the hat too. But then I took off his feet and I just made little nubs or stubs I guess, and I put some blue tack in there, and I made a whole bunch of different colors of shoes and boots. Well, a few, and I'm gonna make more. And the reason I made this whole thing is because I have a new album I'm just mastering, and I want to do a 30-minute stop motion music video, short film / 9 music videos in one. So 3D printed and then painted this chair, and it was 2 pieces and then it kind of swivels. So the computer stuff was 3D printed and then painted, and this cup and espresso maker I got from AliExpress, and also a bunch of these boxes. The desk I made out of pieces of craft wood, and I 3D printed knobs to open and close the drawers. And then I just did like a brown and red wash over it, and I 3D printed the phone. So it's like a modern Batman 66. It's like a Batman 96 because there's a cordless phone. But no, it's more modern screens and stuff. It's a Batman 2016, and the Bat phone is cordless and connected to a Wi-Fi. Anyways, another chair I 3D printed and painted. Some of the hats that are for my character of me, and these are crates that I 3D printed. Before I made that desk, I made this out of cardboard. This is stuff I 3D printed. It's a record player and some records, and this was kind of cool. But when I was making it, originally the drawers were smaller, and then I started to cut out the drawers, and I was like, why are these so small? And I made them bigger. But then when I started putting it together, I was like, oh, that's why it's so small, because that's where your legs would go when you're sitting in a chair. Anyway, then I thought, okay, that can just be like a side desk against the wall. What do they call it? Like an armoire? And I found a file of a Tupac statue, but it was poorly put together, so I had to 3D sculpt and add stuff and 3D print it. This was a separate base that I used just a piece of cardboard glued to both and folded. I 3D printed and painted this. And so when you push the button here, the bookcase moves, and then Bruce Wayne can go down to the Batcave. That was just a silver reusable straw. And I have 3D printed speakers and this little 3D printed Krusty doll. Pretty cool. The paint for a lot of these little things, I found these paint markers at my local dollar store, Diorama, or if you're in the US, Dollar Tree would probably have the same stuff. It was $5, even though it's at a dollar store, because that's how the world works. They're great because they're acrylic paint, but they're like felt tip markers. I'll show you. And they're metallic, or they're supposed to be metallic, but when you paint it, it's not a metallic shine, but it's the color that the color would be if it was metallic color. You know what I'm saying? I have a regular paint pen that you would use, and you have to like push it down until it starts to come out the tip, and then it's got a fat nub that's not really great for coloring or painting stuff, but they're still good to have, because even though these are metallics, There's no silver or gold or copper. I guess the brown is kind of coppery. Anyway, I didn't know markers like that existed, so once I got them and tried them out, I was really happy about it. 3D printed a chair, 3D printed and painted a table, and this was 3D printed, but it was a skeleton in armor, but his arms broke off, and then I put a little epoxy sculpt on the face to make it look like a faceless dummy head rather than a poorly printed skeleton face, head, skull. Yeah, skull. That's it. I also found and resized, what's it called? Kitakabolo? The Shredder's helmet. People who are regulars here will know what it's actually called and tell me in the comments, because I usually do TMNT stuff here on the channel. You saw a turtle Batman in the intro. I have Batman figures, but I don't have a Bruce Wayne figure. 3D sculpted a pop version of myself, but I haven't finished painting yet. I had to print it in 3 pieces to make it look this good. I tried it in 1 piece, it didn't work out. Okay, so this floor is tongue depressors that I cut off the edges and then laid out like a wood floor, and I glued it on top of a foam core poster board. That's how I made all these walls. To paint it, I did a black wash, not over the whole thing, just in some spots, and then I did a red wash after the black wash dried to get like a rosewood kind of color. And these are also tongue depressors, the baseboards and the moldings and stuff. And then I also used popsicle sticks and some wood shapes that I got at the dollar store. They're called wooden shapes. I also 3D sculpted and 3D printed myself as the Tin Man because I have like one line referencing it, which makes me the Tin Man with the heart of a lion and a crown made of straw. Don't follow the wizard, I'm the true king of Oz, here against all odds, etc. So I did it all in separate pieces, and I used armature wire to stick it all together so I can bend the joints and stuff. But when I was getting them ready, the arms came out, so I can't really bend them right now or they'll fall out of the shoulders. Yeah, a lot of this stuff still needs work. Well, I 3D printed this fish and I 3D sculpted that base and glued it onto there. Also got these pictures that I printed off the internet. So there's a Turtles picture by Eastman and Don Quixote by Picasso and Strange Scary Woman by Picasso and Boxers by I don't remember who, but it's a popular one. And then this is EVA foam floor mat on the bottom, and these are dollar store Jenga wood pieces. The floor mats, they'll come like this and they lock together. EVA foam floor mats. So I made this bookcase out of tongue depressors, and then I painted it. Well, I just gave a wash to all the pieces before I glued them down because it's the same as here. And it was burgundy and burnt umber and water. It brings out the grain in the wood. On the bottom, I didn't bring one to show, but it's a long piece of wood that you would put in your garden to put the name of your plant on. And I got it at the dollar store. So I just have lots of little random pieces of wood that I use to make this stuff. It extends out, and I just added some poster board. It makes it easier to pull out. So I just made a basic box out of the foam core so I can slide it in and out and have the bat pole in there. So for the fireplace, I was looking on the 3D printer sites and I couldn't find a fireplace that I liked, so I took 3 that I downloaded and put them all together to get this, and then I 3D printed and painted the wood and this wood holder and the fire on the logs inside. And I did another box, but this one's smaller and not open because it's just holding the fire. For the Batcave, I have a Batman 66 Batcave playset. Once I folded it up, I never opened it up again, but it comes with a lot of different computers and stuff. Well, plastic bat computers. When I got it, I thought I'd one day turn it into a turtle lair, and I will, but I haven't gotten around to it. So that's kind of how I got the idea to do the upstairs, because I already had the downstairs. This is the part of the Batcave that you saw in the intro. There are a bunch of weapons that I 3D printed, like the stuff I glued on here was all 3D printed and then I painted. And then these are different stuff I got from different figures that I added some paint to dirty up and make look scratched and more realistic. Keep forgetting I brought this so you don't have to see my finger covering half of everything I'm doing. This is from the Triceratops, but I gave it a little bit of a black wash and then some silver dry brushing. This was from Scarlet from G.I. Joe that I turned into April, and some ninja weapons and guns and stuff. I have a Doom mask. Probably can't see there are silver batarangs in there. There's some over here sticking into the wall. Lots of different weapons for when I go out and fight crime at night. This is a $4 toy motorcycle. I thought about making a Batmobile, but to make a Batmobile big enough would have taken 3 days to 3D print and then a day to paint, and I already had this motorcycle I was going to use for a turtle, so just using those paint markers that I showed you earlier, I painted black so he could be the Dark Knight and ride the motorcycle to fight crime. The surprise unboxing that I told you about, it's actually a surprise unbagging. I got this from Amazon a couple days ago, yesterday, the day before. I don't know, man. When you live underground, time just... That's a cool little Michelangelo rubber ducky, and I'm going to use it for my aquarium. I thought I'll show it here. So I also 3D printed and 3D sculpted a whole ton of stuff for like the next 20 videos of custom turtles and custom stuff I'm going to make. I should be back to a video a week very soon as I can. And so until next time, remember, always keep your head up. Peace.